So it's 2023, and we still have big brands releasing wired mice. So for what reason? And would it even be worth checking out in the first place? Now, to answer those questions, we'll be taking a look at one of the most popular releases of last year, but just in a wired form. On my desk today, we do have the Razer Deathadder V3 wired, which was announced early in 2023. Getting right into the unboxing, which was super straightforward and not premium like the other unboxings, which I genuinely don't mind considering the mouse costs only $60 US. So we do get a little pack of the user's guide and also a letter from the CEO of Razer and this brown box with the mouse inside of a velvet bag. That's legit it. Now let's take a very good look at the shape first. So as we already know, the Deathadder is an ergonomic mouse. So that means it's a mouse with a more aggressive slant down to the right side. But there are some more rarer mice out there that slant down to the left side with the side buttons being on the right. Now the reason for some preferring an ergonomic mouse is going to be for the sake of comfort and also just a higher prevention of carpal tunnel, as our hands do tend to slant more towards the outside. Now taking a further look into the Deathadder shape specifically, we can see it's quite a chunky mouse. The length comes in at around 125mm. Working from the base, the back butt flare out is going to be 67mm, narrowing down to the front 2/3 of the mouse at 60mm and lastly flaring out to the front at 62mm. Now from the more dominant side, we do have the M1 click height coming in at 27mm, slightly slanting upwards to the apex of the mouse being at the center at 42mm and more aggressively slanting downwards to the back. Flipping the mouse to the least dominant side, the M2 click comes in at roughly 26mm. Seeing as this side doesn't have an apex really, I'm just using the part above the grip tape where the M2 click ends being the highest point of this side, coming in at 27mm and of course still more aggressively slanting down to the back. Overall, the shape is more resembling a trapezium, where the sides slant outwards than how more common mice are resembling an upside down trapezium with slants going inwards. Now after using this for the first couple minutes, I've come to realize that my natural grip style has always been one that slants off to the side more aggressively. So getting accustomed to an ergonomic mouse has honestly been such a breeze. All the curvature and height adds to a great amount of comfort, and I don't really feel like I need adjusting as it just sits perfectly in my palm and with my grip styles. Moving on from the general shape, we head into the side buttons and the main clicks. The side buttons basically have a symmetrical shape. It's a good length and a nice chunky width. They work really well with this mouse, but this is the one area of the mouse where it lacks any curvature whatsoever, and I honestly don't mind it too much. They do have a super low pre and post travel, on top of using a CF Blackshell white-ish dot micro switch. It's pretty snappy but does also require a bit more force to use. Heading into the main clicks, we can see that these actually flow so nicely with the shape. It's a good balance of flaring with grooves to look nice and also feel comfortable no matter where you click. It does stay pretty much consistent in the actuation, except for way back where it does have a tad bit more effort to click, but I'd also make the assumption that nobody will really be playing like that. Moving on to the main clicks, we got the scroll wheel. Now in my Viper V2 Pro video, I was pretty vocal about my dislike towards the scroll wheel and the grip. I do think that they kept the same rubber scroll wheel, but they did make the scroll rounded, which actually makes the experience completely different. And I personally think it's a more premium one in this case. And also pairing that with their Ratio Grey orange core scroll encoder, plus just some unbranded micro switch, makes for a pretty decent tactile experience, but a bit stiffer medium force required to click the middle mouse button. On the bottom of the mouse, it is really standard. We have a small DPI button to swap between 5 profiles, but as always, I just deactivate that completely and just permanently set mine to 1600 DPI. Then the last thing to note on the bottom is the set of skates. Honestly, they're not too bad. They have a pretty low surface area as they're smaller than some other mice out there, unlike the Vaxi XE Wireless, giving us a way lower friction, but still a good amount of general control. After extended use in the couple weeks that I've used it, they're honestly just okay at best, and I'm a bloody sucker for dot skates. So let's pop these bad boys off and smack a very nice fresh pair of X-Ray Pad Obsidian dots. One on the top left, one on the top right, and 3 at the bottom. Right, moving on to the final exterior feature, and that's going to be the coating. I'm someone that sometimes struggles with the coatings because my hands can get a bit sweatier and slips fairly easy. The Deathadder series seems like it made a huge improvement over the crappy, raw textured plastic they went for on the Viper V2 Pro. It's really smooth and a fair amount of grippy, but it still lacks a fair bit and is a bloody fingerprint magnet. So after some annoyances, I just added some of Pulsar's new Pour-On Super Grip tape and it instantly just fixed my issues. They do make it nearly impossible for hand slippage and also locking your fingers in place, which then makes me, well, locked in. And last but not least, let's get under the shell of the mouse and see what's going on. Now, even though Razer have made this version of the Deathadder budget, it does not lack in terms of internals and performance whatsoever. The Deathadder V3 Wired sports Razer's new Gen 3 optical switches. These are the highest performing switches on the market right now, with up to 90 million clicks in its lifespan, 0 debounce time and no double clicking as they are optical switches. But what makes these more insane is the performance paired with Razer's Focus Pro 30K sensor. It allows us to reach high rates of refreshing. Now lately, we have seen an influx of brands getting into 4K Hz wirelessly, and now even more recently, 8K Hz wirelessly on Razer's newest update to their software. Wirelessly can honestly be a bit choppy, as the Deathadder V3 today is fully wired, we have 0 latency issues and the ability to reach 8000 Hz. And in doing so, we do have click actuation times of up to 0.125 milliseconds, which is absurd. A lot of people do only think of the clicks when it comes to polling rate, but higher refresh rate also impacts the sensor. Now, a standard 1000 Hz mouse will only send one piece of info per millisecond to your PC, which does leave small gaps or pauses causing a less fluid experience, whereas 8000 Hz makes a massive jump and closes all those tiny gaps just by sending one piece of info every 0.125 milliseconds, which is genuinely insane, but there is a drawback. High refresh rates on mice are very power hungry. They're super draining on your battery and do need quite the bit of CPU to run. Yet even so, most applications and games do not even support 4K to 8K all too well, and can cause insane amounts of stuttering. Now I do have quite the PC myself, but do prefer to keep all my mice that can reach high refresh rates at just 2K Hz. It is honestly such a huge jump from 1000 as it halves everything in terms of latency without losing out on much battery life and still flows so well on everything I've used so far. And even till this point, I think, honestly, 2K Hz will become the new norm at some eventual stage. Now, after I've honestly experienced the mouse and used it for quite a couple weeks, I do have one thing I need to point out for those who might be looking to try the Deathadder shape. I will probably not recommend this to people with small hands, as it is a really chunky mouse. And last thing to end it off, coming back to the questions I asked at the beginning, why wired and are they worth it? It's honestly a definite yes. For all the features you get packed into this mouse for $70 is absolutely crazy. Gen 3 Razer tech, an insane build quality, a nice flexible cable that doesn't really feel like it exists, and up to 8K Hz polling rate without the need of a separate dongle or any such nonsense. It is honestly such a banger of a mouse. I think this is the best value you can get on the market right now in terms of shape, tech, and feel without the need to buy any extra nonsense. The only thing I would love Razer to do is to just further develop their coating though, something just a bit more matted to combat the fingerprints and make it grippier like the XM2WE, then it would be golden. Overall, I'm loving this mouse heaps, and I might actually decide to one day invest into the wireless version of it, or I might just jump on the Lamzu Thorn train, or just wait it out until the Pulsar X-Lite V3 releases. But only time will tell. Thanks so much for watching guys, take care, peace.